In a small, secluded village, nestled among the high, mist-covered mountains of Japan, there lived a young man named Hiroshi. Outwardly, he appeared like anyone else in the village, working in the fields by day and sharing meals with his family by night. But within, Hiroshi was different. His mind was like a relentless storm, churning with endless thoughts, worries, and fears. While others around him seemed content with simple lives, Hiroshi was tormented by his own mind, feeling as though he was a prisoner of his thoughts. There were days when Hiroshi would feel utterly exhausted, not from physical work, but from the relentless tension of his own mind. At night, when others would fall peacefully asleep, Hiroshi lay awake, tangled in thoughts that he couldn't escape. His family noticed his growing restlessness, the way his shoulders slumped under invisible weight, and the distant look in his eyes, as if he were somewhere far from the present moment. His heart yearned for peace, but he didn't know where to find it. One evening, Hiroshi overheard the elders talking about a wise monk who lived alone in a temple high up on the mountain. This monk, they said, had a remarkable gift for helping those who suffered in silence. People journeyed to him with troubled minds and left with newfound tranquility and a lightness in their hearts. It was said that his wisdom could unravel even the tightest knots of the mind. That night, Hiroshi lay awake, turning over the thought of this monk. Could he help Hiroshi find peace? After a long night of contemplation, Hiroshi made a choice. He would seek out the monk and see if he could find the stillness he so deeply desired. Imagine Hiroshi's journey to find the wise monk high in the mountains, a path filled with trials, self-discovery, and moments that change him forever. If this story draws you in, please consider liking this video and sharing it with others who might also find inspiration in Hiroshi's quest. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you'll be the first to see our latest stories of wisdom and transformation. Now let's step into Hiroshi's world and follow each unfolding moment of his remarkable journey. At dawn, Hiroshi set out on his journey. The path to the mountain temple was known to be treacherous, winding through dense forests and steep cliffs. With each step, Hiroshi felt the weight of his decision, knowing that he would face physical hardship to reach the monk, but believing that the chance for peace was worth any struggle. As he climbed, the air grew thinner and the path narrowed. His legs ached and his breath came in gasps, but Hiroshi pressed on, feeling the call of the temple like a silent promise of relief. By the time he finally saw the temple's rooftop through the trees, his heart was pounding, his legs were weak and his body trembled, but his spirit felt alive with a spark of hope. At the temple's entrance, he was greeted by a soft-spoken elderly monk with a face that radiated kindness and calm. The monk's presence alone seemed to quiet Hiroshi's thoughts, if only for a moment. Feeling both awe and vulnerability, Hiroshi bowed deeply and explained his reason for coming. "My mind is filled with storms," he confessed. "I cannot find peace, no matter how I try. I've come to learn from you if you'll teach me." The monk studied him with wise eyes, a gentle smile playing at his lips. He nodded as though he already understood the turmoil Hiroshi had carried up the mountain. "Peace is within you," the monk said. "It is not something I can give you, but I can show you the path." The next morning, the monk led Hiroshi to a tranquil stream that wound through the temple grounds. As they sat by the water, the monk instructed him, "Watch this stream, Hiroshi. Watch its flow without judging or analyzing it. Simply observe." Hiroshi watched the water, trying to do as the monk asked, but his mind refused to be still. His thoughts wandered to his struggles, his worries, his hopes. Frustrated, he closed his eyes tightly, feeling ashamed that he couldn't even complete such a simple task. The monk noticed Hiroshi's struggle and gently placed a hand on his shoulder. "Thoughts are like this stream," he said. "They come and go in endless patterns, flowing and changing. But you don't have to chase after them. Simply observe as you observe the water. Hiroshi felt something within him shift. As he watched the stream each day, he began to understand that thoughts, like the water, could be observed without attachment. He didn't have to be swept away. He could let them flow, watching them arise and dissolve naturally. Slowly, he felt a subtle calm begin to bloom within him, a small oasis of stillness. One afternoon, as cherry blossoms drifted softly to the ground, the monk took Hiroshi to a grove where a cherry tree stood in full bloom. The breeze stirred its branches, sending a cascade of petals fluttering down. Some petals landed at Hiroshi's feet, while others were carried away on the wind, disappearing into the distance. The monk spoke quietly. "Observe the tree, Hiroshi. Notice how it does not cling to its blossoms. When the time comes, it lets them fall without resistance. The wind carries them away, and the tree stands untroubled." Hiroshi felt a pang in his heart, realizing how tightly he had been clinging to his own thoughts and fears, like someone trying to hold on to every petal of a blossom. He understood that clinging only brought suffering. It was his resistance to letting go that bound him to his worries and held him back from peace. But letting go was not easy. When he tried, he could feel his mind grasping, fighting to hold on. Yet each day, he practiced releasing one thought, one worry at a time, watching them drift away like the cherry blossoms. Slowly, he began to feel a freedom he had never known before. Months passed, and Hiroshi felt himself growing calmer. But one night, a fierce storm struck the mountain. The wind screamed through the trees, and thunder echoed through the temple. The howling of the storm outside seemed to awaken a storm within him, and he felt his old fears and worries surge to the surface. His hands shook, and his heart raced as his mind filled with frantic thoughts of danger. Seeing Hiroshi's distress, the monk sat beside him. "Do not run from the storm," he whispered. "Sit with it, as nature sits with the storm outside. Accept the turbulence within, and you will find peace even in the heart of the storm." Hiroshi closed his eyes and took a deep breath, feeling the chaos within him. Instead of pushing it away, he opened himself to it. He felt the storm of his mind as he had never felt it before, raw and powerful. Yet, as he embraced it without resistance, he noticed that beneath the noise and chaos, there was a stillness, a vast, boundless calm that remained untouched. This stillness was deeper than any thought, wider than any storm. For the first time, Hiroshi experienced true peace. After the storm had passed, Hiroshi spoke with the monk about his experience. The monk smiled warmly and said, "True peace, Hiroshi, is not found by avoiding thoughts. It is found by observing them, by allowing them to arise and dissolve without resistance. When you accept the storms within, you find calmness, even amidst chaos." With each passing day, Hiroshi grew more at ease with his mind. He no longer tried to force his thoughts away, nor did he cling to them. He had learned the wisdom of letting go, of observing without attachment. His mind was like the sky, and his thoughts were like clouds drifting across it. Some clouds were dark, others light, but all were temporary. Months turned into seasons, and Hiroshi became someone new. The turbulent mind that had once troubled him was now a quiet, gentle river, flowing peacefully without obstruction. The monk saw the transformation in Hiroshi's eyes and knew he was ready to return to the village. "Remember, Hiroshi," the monk said before they parted, "peace is not the absence of thought, but the spaciousness in which thoughts come and go. Embrace them as they arise, but know that beneath all storms, there is an ocean of stillness." When Hiroshi returned home, his family and friends marveled at the change in him. His face, once tense and drawn, was now relaxed and serene. His eyes held a quiet wisdom that seemed to offer comfort to those around him. Soon, people began coming to him, seeking his advice on finding peace. Without grand gestures or titles, Hiroshi became a teacher in his own right, sharing the lessons he had learned on the mountain. He taught them how to watch their thoughts, to let go of attachments, and to sit with their inner storms without fear. He reminded them that peace wasn't something they could grasp. It was a presence within them that could be felt when they stopped resisting life's flow. And so, Hiroshi lived a quiet beacon of peace and wisdom, showing others the path to the stillness within. Through his own journey, he had come to understand the timeless truth that the deepest peace lies not in a world without storms, but in a heart that can weather them. As Hiroshi approached the end of his life, he often sat quietly, looking out over the same mountains he had once climbed as a troubled young man. In his silence, he saw how much he had changed, not because his life had been free from pain or worry, but because he had learned to meet each experience with openness and patience. He realized that his journey was not about emptying the mind as he had once imagined, but about understanding the mind's natural ebb and flow and finding peace in the midst of it. The lessons he had learned weren't secrets or mystical teachings, but simple truths available to anyone willing to listen deeply. In his final reflections, Hiroshi saw his life as a reminder that peace does not come from controlling life or avoiding discomfort. It comes from acceptance, accepting the thoughts, emotions, and circumstances that arise without letting them take over. Life itself, he understood, is a dance between holding on and letting go, between striving and surrendering. His story became a testament to this wisdom, a gentle reminder to others that inner peace is not a distant destination or a hidden treasure found only by the enlightened few. Rather, it is the result of a steady commitment to self-exploration, of learning to observe without attachment, of surrendering to the present moment with an open heart. Hiroshi wanted others to know that true peace is attainable for everyone, regardless of their struggles. He believed that by developing patience and compassion for oneself, we create space to see beyond our thoughts and emotions, connecting with a stillness that is always within reach. His legacy emphasized that inner tranquility is a practice, a continual return to awareness, a conscious choice to greet our own minds with kindness, even in difficult times. Ultimately, Hiroshi's life taught that we are all capable of transforming inner turmoil into peace, not by changing the world around us, but by shifting our relationship with our own minds. His story encouraged others to begin this journey for themselves, showing that each step taken in mindfulness and acceptance brings us closer to an enduring peace that no external circumstance can shake. Through his life, Hiroshi had become not only a man who had found peace, but a quiet light for others, illuminating a path toward their own inner calm, resilience, and grace. If Hiroshi's journey and the wisdom he discovered have resonated with you, please take a moment to like and share this video. By doing so, you help spread these timeless lessons of inner peace and self-discovery to others who may be seeking inspiration in their own lives. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss future stories that bring meaningful insights and values to guide us all. Let's create a community dedicated to finding peace and purpose together. Thank you for being part of this journey.